Guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to learn how to make this beautiful Zoe crochet top. This is named after one of my clients who told me to come up with something unique that I had never done before. So she wanted a simple bralette, but something unique, different from what I usually do. So I decided to name this top after her. So you can see the stitch that we used is textured. This is the lemon peel stitch that we shall be using for this particular bralette, and it's straightforward, but it shows a lot of detail when you look at it closely. So let's jump right into the materials. So for the materials, I'll be using yarn. The yarn that I'll be using is Winter King. It's a 4-ply acrylic yarn, and this is the thickness that I have. And I'm also going to use a 4mm crochet hook. So if you have any DK weight size 3 yarn that recommends a 4mm crochet hook, that should be fine. For example, paint box, cotton DK, it's a great substitute for this. I've used it before and it gives me the same exact feel as this yarn here. So you also need a pair of scissors and 1 stitch marker, as well as a darning needle to weave in all your ends. So let's get started. We're going to start off with a slip knot, and we're going to make a chain. Our starting chain is going to be from your nipple down to where you want your top to stop. So for me, I started with a total of 32 chains, but I ended up getting a cropped version, as you can see in this image. So if you want longer, just make more chains, as long as you make an even number of chains. So that is a number of chains that is divisible by 2. So I'm starting off with my 32 chains. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I have made 32 chains. Make sure you have an even number of chains, or a number of chains that is exactly divisible by 2. So I have made 32 chains here. You're going to go into the second chain from the hook. So this chain should be from your nipple down to where you want your top to stop. If you want it to stop on the waistline, just make the desired number of chains. If you want it longer, just push ahead, as long as you have an even number of chains. So from here, you're going to go on to row 1, and for row 1, you're going to insert your hook into the second chain from the hook. So not this one, but this one, that second one. You're going to insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and that's a single crochet in the US terms. So as I had mentioned earlier on, we are going to use a textured stitch. So we're going to keep alternating between single crochet and double crochet. So this is a single crochet, that means the next stitch is going to get a double crochet. So yarn over, insert your hook into the next chain, pull up a loop. You have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. That's a double crochet. So single crochet into the next chain, insert your hook, pull up a loop. You have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all, and then double crochet into the next chain. So that's the repeat for this row. You're going to do that alternating between single crochet and double crochet until the second last chain of your row. Single, double, single, double. And for this project, I prefer to use yarn that's a bit thick so that the texture comes out beautifully. I feel like if you use very thin yarn, then the texture may not be as pronounced as you've seen for my final project. So keep alternating between single crochet and double crochet until the second last chain or until you have only one chain left, and I'll show you what to do from there. All right, so this is my second last chain, and I'm placing a double crochet there. You should place a double crochet into the second last chain. So for the last chain, you're going to place 3 stitches. You're going to place 1 single crochet, 1 double crochet into the same chain, and 1 single crochet into the same chain. And by now you know how the stitches look like. And then you're going to get your stitch marker and mark the exact middle stitch, which should be a double crochet there. And then you're going to turn your work onto the back side of the starting chain, and we are going ahead to do double crochet, single crochet, double crochet, single crochet. So since this is a single crochet, we are starting off with a double crochet into the next chain, then single crochet into the next, double crochet into the next. Just make sure you don't skip any chain because it will mess up our pattern. Keep alternating between single crochet and double crochet at the back of the foundation chain. So for those people who have done crochet before and have worked brackets, you know the exact direction we take for the different rows. It's like we work in a U shape. Our row starts from here and ends up at this point on the opposite side. So that's what we are trying to do right now. So as I work at the back of our foundation chain, I'm also weaving in the tail at the back of my work, as you can see. So continue all the way across, alternating between single and double crochet. You should end your row 1 with a single crochet into the very last chain. So we start with a single crochet and end with a single crochet. So that marks the end of row 1, and this is what you should have. Alright guys, so for row 2, you're going to make a chain of 1, turn your work, and then place a double crochet into the very first single crochet, and then a single crochet into the next double crochet. And we're going to keep alternating between the 2 stitches, placing a double crochet in each single and then a single crochet in each double. And you're going to go all the way across until you reach your stitch marker at the top of the bracket. Don't forget we are placing a double crochet in each single crochet and a single crochet in each double crochet. At this point you should be seeing that the double crochets are longer than the single crochets. So just keep alternating between the 2 stitches until you reach your stitch marker that you placed at the top of the bracket. So you should end with a double crochet right before the stitch with the stitch marker, and you're going to remove your stitch marker, and in that stitch that had the stitch marker you're going to place 1 single crochet, 1 double crochet, and 1 more single crochet. Those are 3 stitches, and then you're going to get your stitch marker and mark the exact middle stitch, which should be a double crochet. the exact middle stitch of the 3 stitches you just placed in the middle. So from here you're going to continue with double crochet, single crochet all the way down until the end of the row. So continue all the way down until the end of the row. So we've come to the end of the row, and you should end with a double crochet into the very last single crochet, just like that. Because we started with a double crochet into the very first stitch, you should end with a double crochet into the last stitch. So row 3, we're going to start off with a chain of 1, turn our work, and we're going to go into the very first double crochet of the previous row and place 1 single crochet, and then continue to alternate between double crochet and single crochet all the way across until you reach the stitch marker. So one difference that you should have noticed is row 2 begins and ends with a double crochet, and row 3, which is the one that we are working right now, begins and ends with a single crochet. So keep alternating between single and double crochet until the stitch marker. Alright, so we are approaching the stitch marker, and you should be placing a double crochet in the stitch before the one with the stitch marker. So remove your stitch marker. Into that stitch that had the stitch marker, you're going to place 1 single crochet, 1 double crochet, and 1 more single crochet into the same chain or the same stitch, and you're going to mark off the middle stitch, which should be a double crochet. And then from here you're going to continue alternating between double crochet and single crochet all the way to the end of the row. So this is row 3. So we are coming to the end of row 3, and you should end with a single crochet into the very last double crochet of the previous row. So we started with a single and we've ended with a single. So we are going to repeat rows 2 and 3 again and again, back and forth in a U shape, and we're going to follow the same exact steps, rows 2 and 3. So just a quick reminder, for row 2 you make a chain of 1 and turn your work, and since this is a single crochet here, you're going to place 1 double crochet into it. So that means this row has started with a double, and we're going to keep alternating between single crochet and double crochet all the way across until you get to the top, where you will place 1 single crochet, 1 double crochet, and 1 single crochet into the stitch with a stitch marker, and then continue to alternate between double and single crochet all the way down to the end of the row. And you should see that your bra cup is creating a shaping here. It's creating room for your breasts to fit into this, and if it does this, don't try to straighten it out. That's the shape that you're trying to achieve, so that this top is well fitted. And then also we are creating a flat edge at the base of our bra cup. So this is quite long, but keep working back and forth, and I'll be back to show you how many rows that I did for my size, which is size small that I'm making for, and then I'll also recommend different number of rows depending on the size that you're making for. So continue working, and I'll meet you back when I have a good number of rows to explain with. Guys, I continued to repeat row 2 until I had a total of 10 rows altogether. So 10 rows is for size extra small to small. Medium to large, you're going to do 12 rows. Extra large to 2XL, you're going to do a total of 14 rows. I'll be leaving the details on the screen. So for me, I have a total of 10 rows. And don't forget to always place a stitch marker into the exact middle stitch of the top of the bra cup, so you can see how the texture looks like. So we're going to count a few stitches from the exact middle. So we're going to count 10 stitches downwards, and you're going to mark it with a stitch marker. For the different sizes, just check on the screen. So since I'm working for extra small, I'm going to count off 10 stitches downwards. For medium large, you're going to count 12 stitches downwards, and you're going to place your second stitch marker there. So from here, where the stitch marker is, you're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, and then place another stitch marker here. So for medium large, you count 12. That means your stitch marker will be here. And XL to XL, you're going to count 14 stitches downwards, and your stitch marker will be here. So after your last stitch of the previous row, you're going to turn your work. You chain one and turn your work and place a single crochet into the very first stitch. Continue to alternate between double crochet and single crochet all the way up until you reach the stitch before the stitch marker that you placed here. So we are working all the way to here, to this stitch marker. Right, so you keep alternating until you place a double crochet into the stitch right before the stitch with the stitch marker. So you place a double crochet in this stitch. Then you're going to remove your stitch marker, and then you're going to make a chain of one and turn your work, because we no longer need the stitch marker that was placed here. So after the chain of one, you're going to skip the first double crochet, skip the next single crochet, and place a single crochet in the next double crochet. So what we are trying to do is to create decreases along this side, and that's the side that's going to go all the way towards our armpit. So after your single crochet, continue to alternate between double crochet and single crochet all the way to the end of the row. So we are working one side of the bra cup. We've made it all the way to the end of the row, and we've ended with a double crochet into the last stitch. So we're going to work all the way up to this point. You're going to make a chain of one and turn your work, single crochet into the double crochet, and double crochet into the next single crochet, and keep alternating between the two stitches until towards the end of the row. Now we're coming to the end of the row, and you should end with a double crochet into the very last single crochet of the previous row. So this is what you should have. Now from here, you're going to go on to the next row, and it's going to be the same as row 2 of the decreases. So you make a chain of one, turn your work, skip the first double crochet, skip the single crochet, and into the next double crochet, you're going to place a single crochet. So that's how we continue with the decreases. One row of decrease, and that row of decrease should start from the tip. The rows that start from this side of the bra cup are the ones that create the decreases. And then the row that comes back from the base of the bra cup all the way up doesn't create any decrease. You just make a plain row. So I'm going to keep alternating between those two rows, the decrease row and the non-decrease row, and I'll be letting you know how many rows that I did total alternating between the decrease and the non-decrease row, and you can see what this is creating. It's creating a slant on the side of the bra cup. So keep alternating between the two, and I'll let you know how many rows to do for the different sizes. Guys, I ended up doing a total of 10 rows all the way from the time that we started decreasing. So I have 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10 rows, and you can see the shaping that has been created. So for the different sizes, you're going to increase by 2 rows. So that means medium to large, you're going to do a total of 12 rows. And then extra large to 2XL, you're going to do a total of 14 rows. Or you're going to do as many rows as you need to create back coverage for yourself. If you need your back to be wrapped up completely, then that means you're going to continue to work these rows and wrap up the back side of your top. So we're going to create a mesh row where we're going to lace up the back of our top, and to do that you're going to make a chain of 4 and turn your work, skip the next stitch and double crochet into the next. Chain 1, skip the next stitch, double crochet into the next, and you're going to repeat that. Chain 1, skip the next stitch, double crochet into the next. You're going to create that mesh pattern all the way across this row. Remember, this is the panel that's going to go to the back side of the top. So just like that, and we have 1 more stitch left, so I'll just make a chain of 1 and go into that very last stitch with a double crochet, and this is what I'll have. You're going to make a chain of 1 and turn your work, and you're going to place 2 single crochets in each and every box. 2 single crochets in each and every box all the way across. All right, so we've just placed 2 single crochets into the very last box, and you're going to make a chain of 1 and cut your yarn. Pull through. So this is what you'll have. Guys, after the very first side, you're going to go ahead and repeat the same exact process as the first one and create a second bra cup. Mirror the same exact thing, do the same exact process. And now it's time for us to join the 2 pieces together, as you can see here. Now you're going to determine how deep you want your v-neck to be. And for me, I think I'm going to count a total of 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, and 20. 20 stitches upwards, and count the same exact number of stitches on this side. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, and 20. So I'm going to join my 2 pieces until this level, and this is how deep my v-neck is going to be from this side up to the 20th stitch, counting from the base. But you can make it at any level depending on the fitting that you're going for. So you're going to grab your yarn. At this point, you can decide to use a darning needle to join the 2 pieces together, but I'm going to use my crochet hook. So you're going to fold over your work and then go into each and every stitch on each panel. Attach your yarn, And I'm going to place slip stitches in each and every stitch. So one slip stitch joining the two panels together. Insert your hook, pull through all, just like that. And make sure your slip stitches are not very tight so that you don't distort the shape of the top in the middle section. Alright, so I've reached the stitch with a stitch marker. I'll just remove the stitch marker like this and then place a slip stitch into that last stitch. Chain one and cut my yarn. Alright guys, after joining your two bra cups, this is what you should have. It looks so beautiful on the right side. On the wrong side you'll have this bump, but on the right side this is what everything looks like. And we're going to attach straps to our top. So to do that, you're going to make a slip knot and attach into the very top corner of our bra cup. Make one single crochet and make a very long chain of about 250 chains. Alright guys, so I attached a total of 250 chains on top of each bra cup, as you can see. Now you're going to turn your work onto the wrong side or the back side like this, and we're going to lace up our straps that we just attached. So just fold over your work like this, and you're going to start with the very first hole, of course with a crisscross to create an X at the back like that. And then we're going to continue to lace it up after 2 boxes. At this point it's up to you. You can skip 1 box or 2 boxes. I'm going for 2 boxes because I don't want so many straps at the back of my top. So I'm skipping 2 boxes and lacing up the next. So this is my very last one, just like that. And I've left a good distance for the upper part of the top. And then from here, you're going to just make a knot at the bottom of the top. And that is basically it, guys. This is what our top looks like. I'm going to show you the final images of this top, matched up with our previous skirt that we made in our previous tutorial. And I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Make sure you give it a thumbs up if you did, and I will see you in my next video. Don't forget to check out the written pattern. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in my next one. Bye.